Now we have one most important topic in our paper number 2, Kerala economy. Kerala economy actually, if you study Kerala economy in a proper manner, the method is, first of all, look into the general features of the Kerala economy, geographical and other general features of Kerala economy. First of all, we have to look into. Then after that, the socio-economic characteristic features of Kerala economy. What are the most important socio-economic characteristic features of the Indian Kerala economy? Then sectoral analysis. Sectoral analysis means agricultural sector, industrial sector, tertiary or service sector of the Kerala economy, one by one in detail we have to see. After that, the Kerala model of economic development. How far the Kerala model of economic development is a speciality of the Kerala economy, and for the development what distinction is there. The Kerala economic model is the next one. After that, we have to look into many special institutions, yojanas, policy measures adopted by Kerala government for the economic development of the state. After that, a critical conclusion analysis. That is the usual method by which we have to approach the subject matter of Kerala economy, both for the prelims as well as mains. The syllabus is same, Kerala economy, that contain all the matters relating to socio-economic, agricultural, industrial, service sectors of the economy completely we have to look into. But that may take a lot of time. And as there is no sufficient time for our studies, we may take a different approach just for the purpose of prelims examination. Now we are concentrating only in the prelims examination. Mains a bit more in detail we have to look into, that we may take later. But now for the prelims purpose, how to approach the problem of Kerala economy, the features of the Kerala economy in a condensed manner. So in a different approach. This is a usual method, practical method we have to undergo to study the Kerala economy in all these ways. General features, special features, sectoral analysis, economic model, Kerala economic model, then special institutions, yojanas, and a critical assessment of the economic system. Instead of that, we may take first of all Kerala economic model. In that Kerala economic model, whatever things we want to study for prelims purpose, on a multiple choice method, what are the most important area from where such multiple choice questions can be asked. So everything we will take, all these matters which I have already mentioned, we will take into consideration in the single topic of Kerala model of economic development. Features will come, yojanas will come, and all the most important features, characteristics, socio-economic, institutional factors in respect of Kerala economy we may take in summarized form by the under the heading of Kerala economy. Kerala economy. First of all, since my approach is different, first of all I will give you the reason for the development of the concept of Kerala economy. That is Kerala economy, Kerala economic model. Kerala economic model, how that concept of Kerala economic model originated without concentrating any particular point or topic. The Kerala economic model, the creation, the origin, the background we may take. From that background itself we will understand properly what exactly we mean by Kerala economic model. For Kerala economic model is what we are going to discuss in summarized form in a different method. You know that in the literature now we find two words. One is economic growth and the other is economic development. But the classical writers, very old ancient writers, they did not distinguish these two terms. Economic growth as well as economic development were interchangeably used by the earlier writers without making any distinction. Without making any distinction between economic growth on the one hand and economic development on the other, synonymously these two terms were used. Interchangeably these two terms were used. That means instead of exactly economic growth, they may use economic development. Instead of exact economic development, they may use the concept of economic growth. No distinction. There was no distinction drawn between the two concepts of economic development and economic growth in the early writing. There is also reason for that. That was the nature of the earlier literature. Without making any distinction between the two terms, interchangeably these two terms were used. But subsequently, writers are of opinion that we should treat these two subjects separately, because growth is different from development. Economic growth as well as economic development, growth is different from development in many respects. For example, growth refers to, the simple literal meaning of the word growth is a physical change. Growth is supposed to be a physical change which can be quantitatively measured, numerically expressed by means of a number. By means of a number, you can express the changes that take place, which is a quantitative aspect. Growth is a quantitative aspect which can be measured, which can be expressed by means of a numerical number, so that any mathematical studies is possible with respect to growth, because it is concerned with the numericals. As it is concerned with the numbers, numericals, we can treat mathematically also to study the details about the growth related matters. Many economic variables are growth in a characteristic feature. Growth variables are. For example, we are concerned with national income, GDP growth, growth rate of the economy, employment growth rate, production growth, agricultural production growth rate, industrial production growth rate, expenditure, savings, investment, all these are quantifiable variables. Quantitatively, these variables we can measure, we can express, we can study all the details in a numerical manner, growth related aspect. Many of the variables, many of the economic variables are growth related variables. On the other hand, there is a qualitative change possible because of growth. A qualitative change is what is referred to as development. That development, which is a qualitative aspect, we cannot directly measure and directly express by means of a numerical number. It is not possible. For example, in the ordinary parlor, we find many type of qualitative words. For example, beauty, intelligence, honesty, integrity, goodwill. These are all qualitative factors. General, in the common parlor, we may say these are all some qualitative facts which cannot be expressed by means of a number. Beauty of a person is 6, meaningless. Intelligence is 5. It is not directly possible to express by means of a number. We have to take an indirect method to study about the qualitative changes, as it is not possible to measure and express by means of a number. There are also in economics variables which are qualitative in nature. For example, production, which is a quantitative aspect. The quality of the produce, manufactured commodities quality, agricultural commodity quality, we can see, we can take into account. Even the health related matters, poverty or health. These are all qualitative factors which cannot be directly measured. Some indirect method we have to approach. So, the writers distinguish between the two terms, development as well as growth, in a different manner. When you take economic growth, they say that it is a problem of advanced economies. Advanced economies have a problem. Their problem is what is called economic growth, because already they are highly advanced. They are highly advanced and highly developed, so their problem is growth, economic growth. Development is not at all a problem to the advanced countries. On the other hand, we the people in the developing economies like India or underdeveloped economy, low income countries, their most important problem is development. Introducing something new is a difficult task. In such countries, introducing something new is a very difficult task because people may not accept that introduction. They have many taboos, traditional customs, etc., as a result of which they are not at all ready to accept the latest developments. Only after a lapse of time, sometimes they will understand the need for such a advanced technology or advanced thing. They will accept only after some time. Immediately they will never accept. So, the problem as far as the developing countries or low income countries, underdeveloped country is not economic growth, but economic development. Similarly, when you take economic growth or growth aspect, when you are taking, it requires a time dimension. It requires a time dimension, means growth is a continuous process which we can understand. The growth aspect we can understand only if a time span is allowed. Daily it may be sometimes a physical growth of a boy. Daily he may be growing, but daily you cannot measure the growth of that boy by weight or by height. What change daily, we cannot make a measurement. With an interval only we can understand the growth related aspect. That is why annual growth we are taking, growth expressed annually, which is possible. It requires a time dimension. Growth related matters to study, there is a time dimension is necessary, but development requires no such a time. Even spontaneously there can be, immediately there can be a change in the quality, and so that development can be an immediate one, need not require any time span to make the development taking place in the country. So, many such distinction the writers draw between economic growth and economic development. But the problem is how to measure, what are the indicators of growth and what are the indicators of development. That is the most important problem. How can we measure the growth? What are the indicators of growth? What are the indicators of development? So, earlier writers, when there was no distinction between growth and development, they have taken one criterion, one indicator, one measurement, one yardstick to study about the growth related aspect by taking what is called real national income, increase, a criterion, real national income increase. Pen? Nice. Real national income increase, that is taken as a criterion by the earlier writers to indicate economic growth or economic development, because there was no distinction between growth and development. Therefore, the criterion taken, indicator taken is real national income of a country increasing over a longer period of time. So, they defined economic growth or economic development as a process whereby economies' real national income increase over a longer period of time. When the real national income of a country is increasing over a longer period of time, there is growth, there is economic development. We know what is real national income. What is real national income? When the national income is evaluated at base price. or when the national income is evaluated at constant price. Take a base year. We know our base year in calculation of national income is 2011-12. We take 2011-12 as base year. Then the value of commodities produced in all the subsequent years, 2013, 2014, 15, 16, 17, all the subsequent years valuation of commodity made on the price of base year. The base year price, what was the base year price of these commodities? About the current year physical quantity of commodity is multiplied by the price of these commodities in the base year 2011-12. Base year is constant. For all the subsequent years, the monetary value of all goods and services produced is evaluated at a constant base year. If you calculate the national income of a country at a constant base year, it is known as real national income. When that real national income is going on increasing over a longer period of time, there is growth, there is development. As there is no difference between growth and development, the economy is getting a faster growth according to the earlier writers. So the indicator, the measurement, the yardstick taken by the earlier writers is increase in the real national income. But subsequent writers were of opinion that real national income is not a good indicator of economic development, because by economic development there is a welfare living standard improvement is necessary. The people should have a better living standard with economic development or with economic growth. With economic growth and economic development, some improvement in the living standard is necessary. Their living standard should increase. Real national income cannot be taken as an indicator of welfare living standard of the people. So that the writers, especially the socialistic writers, who want improvement in the living standard, welfare living standard because of economic growth, rejected the concept of real national income, and instead a second criterion they have put forward, that is what is called per capita real national income. Instead of real national income, take per head availability of national income, per capita or per head availability of national income. How will you calculate the per head availability of national income or per capita? Real national income, earlier real national income divided by the total population of that country during the year. Divide the real national income by the total population of that country in the same year, so that you will get average income or per head availability of national income, real national income per head availability per capita you will get. And they are of opinion that when the per head availability of national income per capita real national income in a country is going on increasing, the people can improve their living standard. They can consume more commodity or better quality commodity, they can consume, they can spend money for their education purposes, and all the well-being of the people may improve because of an increase in the per head availability of national income per capita. Therefore, the second criterion became per capita real national income increase criterion. So, they defined economic development is a process whereby the per capita real national income of a country is increasing over a longer period of time, because development requires well-being, better well-being of the people is necessary. That improvement in the living standard or better living standard is possible only when the per head availability of real national income is increasing. So, rejected the first and taken the second criterion. But the second criterion has got many limitations, many disadvantages or many defects are there. Of course, there are many defects to the per capita real national income as a indicator of economic development or economic growth. Many defects are there. Though there are limitations and defects to per capita real national income as an indicator of economic development, we accept here, admitting the limitations. Admitting the limitations, we accept, we say that per capita real national income increase is a better criterion of economic development rather than real national income criteria. Admitting the defects. There are limitations, of course, and admitting the limitations and defects of per capita real national income as an indicator of economic development, we accept today all the international organizations or the international conferences readily accept per capita real national income increase as a criterion of economic development, rejecting real national income criterion, though there are limitations and defects. Subsequently, writers are of opinion that this real national income criterion, earlier real national income criterion or per capita real national income criterion, if you are taking, they are mono criterions, single aspect based criterion. Only we take one aspect, real national income increase, or we take per capita real national income, nothing else is considered. So, it is a concept or it is a term taking into consideration a single criterion, single aspect, and so that the writers are of opinion that development is not a single aspect. We have to consider simultaneously a number of things if you want to study about the development taking place in the country. Multiple number of things we have to consider together simultaneously to assess when there is economic development or not. So, rejected. Modern writers rejected the single mono based criterion real national income as well as per capita real national income criterion, they have rejected, and instead they have put forward what is called composite index of development, composite index of development, CID, a criterion CID they have formulated rejecting the mono criterion, single based criterion, that is rejected, and instead a number of things simultaneously we have to consider to see whether there is economic development or not. So, they have taken what is called CID, composite index of development, a group of things, number of things simultaneously take, construct an index number, index of development. Indicator is an index, and number of things we have to consider simultaneously. For example, average expected life duration of the people in the country. What is the average expected life duration of the country the people have in the country, whether they can live for a long time or only for a short period they are able to live. Average expected life duration of the people is an indicator of development. For example, at the time of our independence in 1947, average expected life duration of an Indian was 35 years. 35 years average expected life duration of an Indian at the time of our independence. That means before attaining 35 years, many people die. Maximum we may say 55, 60, 65 years the length of life duration. Average is 35 years, that was the case at the time of our independence. Today we know that it is more than double. So, longevity, it is now possible that the actual life duration of an individual average exceeded. Very long duration is now possible because of the qualitative changes, because of the development aspect, we can live for a long duration. So, average expected life duration should be taken into consideration, whether it is short or long. They are able to live for a long period, or early death is there in the country. One of the most important factor we have to consider along with development related matters. Number 2, infant mortality rate. Infant mortality rate means how many babies infant before attainment of the first birthday anniversary celebration. Many babies die, infant die before the first birthday. Many number of babies, infant die. Because of what reason? Because of the lack of nutritious food facility, or mother at the time of pregnancy was getting no quality food material or medical care, so that the baby is also not able to live for a long. Early deaths. Before 1 year, how many babies die in the country? Whether large number of babies die, it is a common phenomenon or not. That should be taken into consideration. Then only we can say the country is developing, there is development in the country or not. Infant mortality, mortality or the death rate of the infants below 1 year. How many babies die in the country? That we should take into consideration. Then number 3, child mortality rate. Below 5 years, how many children die in the country? The same reason, the reason is same, poverty. Because of the poverty or because of the lack of nutritious food and medical care, sometimes we may say the many number of children die in the country before 5 years of age. That is called child mortality rate. That should be considered. Whether it is high or low, that should be taken into account for assessment of economic development. Then maternal mortality rate, mother's death in connection with the pregnancy and delivery. In connection with the pregnancy as well as delivery, how many mothers die in the country? In case of developing countries like India or underdeveloped countries, maternal mortality rate is very high. Reason? Same, poverty. Poverty is the reason during the pregnancy period they are not getting sufficient nutritious food or medical care, and so that at the time of death or carrying time they may die. Large number of mothers die due to poverty is a bad thing. But that is also to be taken into consideration. What is the maternal mortality rate of that country, whether it is high or low. Over and above all this, literacy rate. A mere increase in the real national income or a per capita real national income is not at all sufficient. What is the literacy rate of the country? People's literacy rate, education related matters. Literacy rate is another most important thing we have to take into consideration. Then, gender disparity, women's status in the country. What is the nature of gender equality in the country, the status of women in the country, we should take into consideration. So, a number of things. Mono criterion like real national income increase or a per capita real national income increase is not at all sufficient for economic development. Many other things we have to simultaneously take into consideration. So, modern writers constructed an index number of development, composite index of development. One such a composite index of development to construct for the first time was PQLI. PQLI, Physical Quality Life Index. PQLI, Physical Quality Life Index, which is one such a CID, constructed for the first time by a Russian writer, Morris D. Morris, constructed an indicator, CID, composite indicator of development, by taking into consideration three things simultaneously. One is average expected life duration of people in the country. According to him, that is the most important one. Average expected life duration of people in the country literacy rate of the people in the country and infant mortality rate. These three things. These three things are simultaneously taken to construct the index number of economic development, which is called a composite index of development constructed by Morris by name PQLI, Physical Quality Life Index. When this Physical Quality Life Index, a CID, was published as an indicator of economic development, deviating from the earlier mono criterion of real national income or per capita real national income criterion, a new approach when taken by the Russian writers, this subject became an interesting topic for research studies. Many research institutions and universities took this as a subject for their study. How far PQLI and economic development is related? It was an interesting topic to many of the institutions and universities. Thus, taking the example of European countries, the advanced countries, Asiatic countries, underdeveloped countries, African countries as an example, they have taken empirical studies, research studies, empirical statistical studies. By conducting research studies, reports were published by all the institutions relating to the applicability of CID concept to study about the economic indicators. Wide studies were made. All the reports came into one conclusion, irrespective of the country or university where this research is conducted. All of them have same conclusion, and the conclusion was, higher the per capita real national income of a country, higher is PQLI. Higher the per capita real national income of a country, higher is found the PQLI also. Physical Quality Life Index is also better in those countries where the per capita real national income is higher. Higher the per capita real national income, higher is a quality of life, human life. Quality is also better according to the research studies. So they are asking, why we reject per capita real national income? No. The research study came into the conclusion that if the per capita real national income of a country is high, automatically all the other things will also be better and good. That is the conclusion we are getting. Higher the per capita real national income, common, we find the living standard, PQLI, or the composite index of development are also good in such country. That is why, though there are limitations to per capita real national income as an indicator of economic development, even today we are taking. Even today we are comparing the country's living standard, economic development, growth, etc. by taking per capita real national income as a concept. All these studies, all these research studies, along with this common conclusion, one more exceptional conclusion was drawn. All the research studies made this conclusion. What conclusion? If the per capita real national income of a country is higher, automatically the living standard, better living standard will be there, PQLI will also be higher in the country. But there are exemptions denoted by all the research studies, local pockets, not nation as a whole. There are certain local pockets, local areas, where this rule is inapplicable. This rule is inapplicable in certain local areas. Only in certain local area, this rule is inapplicable. Which rule is inapplicable? Higher the per capita national income, higher will be the PQLI rule is not applicable. That means, even with a lower per capita national income, there can be a better living standard. Even with a lower per capita national income, there can be a better living standard possible, which is evident, which is seen, empirically seen in certain selected local area pockets. One such a local area is our Kerala. Our Kerala is one such a local area where there is a paradox is existing. That means paradox is such that our state GDP at that time especially was comparatively very lower when compared to the neighboring states. Neighboring state Tamil Nadu or Karnataka or Andhra Pradesh, the neighboring state per capita we are taking, or the state real national income when you compare with that of Kerala, our real national income and per capita real national income was very lower. But all the other ingredients, all the other qualitative facts are in support of Kerala. That contradiction, or we may say the paradox, with a lower per capita real national income, higher living standard is subsequently came to be known as Kerala model of economic development. Our Kerala model of economic development is the paradox we find, contradiction we find when compared to the other countries. In all the countries, this is a common feature that growth will take place. After the improvement, increase in the real national income or per capita real national income, subsequently all the other socio-economic indicator will improve. That is a usual course, usual nature in all the countries. But to Kerala and certain other local areas, we find a contradiction. Without a higher per capita real national income, a better higher living standard, that is subsequently came to be called as the Kerala model of economic development. Our Kerala model of economic development is proved subsequently also, not only through this PQLI. Subsequently, there was another most important composite of index developed by UNDP. UNDP is what? United Nations Development Program. UNDP, United Nations Development Program, a subordinate organization of UNO, has also published what is called HDR, Human Development Report. Human Development Report annual publication of UNDP, that is HDR. In that HDR, they have developed another CID. Another CID they have developed in the HDR, Human Development Report, in which a human development indicator they have developed, which is known as HDI. A most important indicator, human development index is calculated, where three things again they have taken. For the calculation of the HDI, Human Development Index, UNDP has taken three things simultaneously. One is per capita real national income itself. One is per capita real national income, and the second is literacy rate. Second is literacy rate, and the third one is average expected life duration of the people. That is health related matters. Average expected life duration of the people, literacy, as well as the per capita real national income taken together constructed what is called HDI. HDI, in order to calculate the HDI, these three variables geometric mean is taken. The three variables geometric mean is taken for the calculation of what is called HDI, Human Development Index. And the credit for introducing the HDI goes to a Pakistani economist, Muhammad ul Haq. And on the basis of the same, you see HDI, we have also. In India also, we have calculated the HDI for various states in India, which also proved that Kerala is having a speciality. Kerala is having a speciality in the Human Development Index. And there are many other indicators, subsequently many other indicators developed by this UNDP. For example, instead of this Human Development Index, in the year 2010, HDR publication, they have calculated inequality adjusted human development index. Inequality adjusted human development index 1, another one gender equality index, then multi-dimensional poverty index. These are all further development, further we will say criterion developed by UNDP in 2010. Subsequently, we find that it is a common phenomenon that development is a multiple number of things. A mere increase in the real national income is not at all sufficient. A mere increase in the real national income is not sufficient. A number of things we have to take into consideration. About using this information, that is a development, how economic development can be measured, what are the things to be taken into consideration for the assessment of economic development, we find Kerala is in the forefront. For example, when you make a comparative assessment, when we take a comparative assessment of this average expected life duration, maternal mortality, infant mortality, etc., in comparison with all over India, the data, all over India data, when you are comparing, according to the present situation, the birth rate in case of Kerala birth rate is 14 out of 1000 population. In 1000 population in 1 year, annual birth rate is 14 according to the 17-18 assessment. 17-18 year assessment, the birth rate of Kerala is 14 out of 1000 population. Whereas all over India, Indian, when you are considering, it is 18.02 per 1000 population. In 1000 population in 1 year, 18.02, that is the birth rate all over India. About comparing this all India birth rate as well as the birth rate of Kerala, Kerala is having a lower birth rate. According to the this National Population Policy, NPP 2000, we want to reduce the population, and birth rate reduction is necessary for economic development. We accept that. And Kerala is in comparison with the average overall birth rate, Kerala is having the advantage of lower birth rate. Then death rate, when you are taking the mortality rate or death rate, in Kerala it is 6.6 out of 1000 population. Out of 1000 population, annually 6.6 is the mortality death rate, whereas overall India it is 7.23 out of 1000 population. In 1000 population during 1 year all over India, we find 7.23 number of persons dying. Mortality rate is 7.23 per 1000 population. Then infant mortality rate, below 1 year, how many babies die? Infant mortality rate in case of Kerala is 10 by 1000 births in 1 year. In 1000 birth 1 year, 10 babies die in Kerala. That is the infant mortality rate of Kerala. Whereas the same thing for overall India is 30 by 1000. In 1000 birth, 30 babies die annually all over India. So that is also very low in case of Kerala, very high rate in the nation as a whole. Then average expected life duration of people. Average expected life duration of people in case of Kerala at present is 74.9 years. 74.9 years average expected life duration of a Keralite, whereas the same thing all over India is 69.17. 69.17, comparatively very low. Very low average expected life duration all over India, and comparatively very high, 74.9 years. That is a comparative length, average expected life duration of people. Then average expected life duration of men in Kerala. Men in Kerala is 72 years. 72 years average expected life duration of men in Kerala, whereas in all over India 67.32 years. Only lower, 67 in the place of 67.32 average all over India. Kerala is having a very high 72 years average expected life duration of men. And average expected life duration of women in Kerala at present is 77.8 years. 77.8 years average expected life duration of women in Kerala, whereas it is 68.56 years. 68.56 years in case of all over India, India as a whole. So these things are evident. These things are evident that Kerala is having some speciality. Though the real national income is very low, per capita real national income is very low, all the other socio-economic indicators are very high, and we may say a better living standard is assured to the Keralites, which is the subject matter, the reason for Kerala model of economic development. Now, according to the budget provision, when you take the budget that is introduced at present, that means the next 2020-21 budget is not necessary for us for this examination. For mains examination it is required, but here we need take only the other current budget, 2019-20 budget. 2019-20 budget alone is sufficient as far as Kerala or the union government, central government budget is concerned. For the prelims examination, 2019-20 budget is only relevant. You cannot get questions on 2020-21. That is important only for mains examination. For mains examination, we have to go through the current, that means 2020-21 budget. Here we may take only 2019-20 budget. According to 2019-20 budget of Kerala government, the total national income of the country, we find the total national income of the country according to the Kerala budgetary provisions. Budget provisions, the present, it is calculated at current price. At current price, that means not at base price. At current price, the national state GDP is calculated as 8,75,514 crores of rupees. 8,75,514 crores of rupee, the calculated state GDP at current price, not base price. Calculated on the basis of the prices of 2018-19, the state GDP is calculated as 8,75,514 crores of rupees. This amount is 13%, 13% higher than what was estimated in 2018-19. Compared to the estimation of 2018-19 previous year, 13% hike in the state GDP is assessed by the budget 2019-20. And when we take the deficit in the budget 2018-19 deficit, it is calculated as 1% of the GDP. State GDP we know, that is 8,75,540. 1% of this amount equivalent, that is the revenue deficit of the state government. Revenue deficit. The revenue deficit in the budget of 2018-19 comes 19-20 comes to 1% of the GDP, whereas the fiscal deficit, all the difference we have already taken in the last class. The fiscal deficit of Kerala during 2019-20, 3% of GDP, state GDP, 3%, it is equivalent to 3% of GDP. The fiscal deficit of Kerala budget during 2019-20, 3% of the state GDP. You know that according to the FRBM Act, Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act 2003. Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act of 2003, we find it is mentioned that reduce the public expenditure. Annual, the expenditure must be reduced little by little, and it should be brought to 3% by 2009. By 2009, it should be reduced to 3%. Again, after that also, it should be reduced as a percentage of GDP, 1%. It should be again reduced by 1%. What? The fiscal deficit. Fiscal deficit should be further reduced to 1% of GDP for a fiscal consolidation. For the fiscal consolidation, the expenditure should be reduced and fiscal deficit should also be reduced. First of all, it should be brought 3% of GDP. Again, further reduction is necessary. At last, we should get 1% of GDP as fiscal deficit of a state as well as the country for a fiscal consolidation of the budget provision. We have achieved. Similar to the central government budget, where there is 3.3% of GDP is the present fiscal deficit, we could also achieve 3% of the GDP as equal to the fiscal deficit in the Kerala budget by 2019-20. Then when we take this budget, we find that the Kerala model is having many specialities. Many speciality we find in the Kerala model of economic development, and all these all the programs for a faster economic development. That means that economic development because of the state efforts, because of the state policy measures. Distinguishing state policy measures, welfare projects, etc. introduced in Kerala, we could get a paradox. We could get a faster development in the socio-economic living, welfare living standard of the people. And for that, we find mainly we have 4 measures, 4 programs. We have introduced 4 programs under the title of, we may say, Nava Kerala Karma Paddhati. Nava Kerala Karma Paddhati. That is a program that we adopt for a faster economic development of Kerala. Nava Kerala Karma Paddhati. Where we have to remember that the Nava Kerala Karma Paddhati is actually meant for the grassroots level of population. The lower and the weaker section of the population, the upliftment of the lower and weaker section of the population, the ultimate objective of Nava Kerala Paddhati, that is Nava Kerala Karma Paddhati, is aiming at a faster living standard, especially to the grassroots weaker section of the population. And this Nava Kerala Karma Paddhati is consisting of mainly 4 components. There are mainly 4 components economic programs that is adopted by Kerala government for a faster improvement in the economic development of the country, distinguishing it from the other states' development. In comparison with other states, we have many other programs. The socialistic government is responsible for the introduction of many programs for a faster development, and now it is known as Nava Kerala Karma Paddhati, and that Nava Kerala Karma Paddhati is mainly consisting of 4 components, and the 4 components of the present economic development program is number 1, that is Harita Keralam Paddhati. Harita Keralam. Harita Keralam, that is one component, the most important component of the Nava Kerala Karma Paddhati is Harita Keralam Paddhati. Second is capital letters LIFE, Life Mission. Life Mission. Second is Life Mission. Life Mission. Life, LIFE, Life means livelihood, inclusion and financial empowerment. Livelihood, inclusion and financial empowerment. Life Mission. Second component. Second component of the Nava Kerala Karma Paddhati is Life Mission. Life Mission means livelihood, inclusion and financial empowerment program. Number 3, the third one in the Nava Kerala Karma Paddhati is known as the Podu Vidyabhyasa Samrakshana Yojana. Podu Vidyabhyasa Samrakshana Yojana, and the 4th one is Ardram Paddhati. Ardram. These are the 4 components. The most important 4 components of the Nava Kerala Karma Paddhati is consisting of, we may say, Harita Keralam program, Life Mission program, Podu Vidyabhyasa Samrakshana Yojana or Paddhati, then Ardram Yojana. Under these components, we find many other programs. Of all the other programs, there are more than we may say 20-25 programs are now running under these various 4 heads. Mainly all these programs at present we put into one scheme, Nava Kerala Karma Paddhati, under which 4 subheads we have. 4 main programs, one Harita Keralam program, a second is Life Mission program, the third is the Ardram program, and the next one is Podu Vidyabhyasa program, wherein a number of other programs are included. But before taking the components, other components within the 4 groups, general feature, general characteristic feature of all these Nava Kerala Karma Paddhati is that, number 1, we may say all these are programs where people participation is the elementary one, distinguishing the Kerala model from all the other states. People participation. People's participation, wholehearted support of the general public. Wholehearted support of the general public for these programs introduced by government, one of the reason. One of the reason for the fast development, and we may say it is something distinguished from the other states. Here what we take is that how much amount of money government is spending for this program, that does not matter. That is not at all to be taken into consideration. Sometimes for education purpose or for this health related matters, other state may be spending a lot of money than what we are spending. But we are not taking into consideration how much the government is spending, monetary terms, how much the government is spending on different these programs. That is not the important matter. How much support the government is getting from the general public for the introduction of these programs. In all these programs, and we may say the subsequent sub programs of all these main 4 programs of Navakeralam, we find that wholehearted support of the general public, people participation, essential feature of this Kerala program, which is distinguishing from the other states program, a model, a economic model, reason for the economic model of the Kerala government. Number 2, second most important thing is common thing. Second, first is people participation. Second is that all these programs are targeted. All these programs are targeted to the downtrodden class of persons. The most downtrodden grassroots level of population, weaker section of the population. It is meant for the upliftment of the weaker section of the population, their socio economic well-being, providing them material requisites of well-being. Sometimes we may say providing them with the material requisites of well-being and getting more and more financial inclusion in the country. That is one of the most important objective of government programs now, that is inclusive development. Inclusive development means that the lower weaker section of the population should also be rewarded. The economic development, the result of the economic development should be allowed to enjoy by the lower section of the population. They should not be rejected. They should not be rejected. They should also be uplifted. They should also come in par with the mainstream. That is called inclusive development, for which a financial inclusion is necessary. Accessibility, financial accessibility is necessary. They should also be brought in a higher living standard. That is a major objective of all this program: financial inclusion, inclusive development, upliftment of the weaker section of the population. Aiming at these all this program, they aim at a financial inclusion and inclusive development. And again we may say thirdly, there is also a common phenomenon that it is for a sustainable development of the Indian economy. It is for a sustainable development, environmental protection, not to do any harm to the environment, keeping the environment clean, without pollution, reducing air pollution, water pollution and all other type of pollution to the maximum extent possible. Green protection, aiming. All these programs are having these common general characteristic features. That means it is targeting, all these programs targeting the lower section of the population for their upliftment. Inclusive development, financial inclusion, natural protection, sustainable development. These are all the main underlying features of these programs developed by the Kerala government at present. The first program, that means in the main program of Nava Kerala Karma Paddhati, the first one is Harita Kerala Paddhati. Harita Kerala Paddhati is consisting of 3 components. Harita Kerala Paddhati is consisting of 3 components. 1. Sanitation and waste processing. Sanitation and waste processing. Harita Keralam, that means green protection, that is aiming at providing we may say sanitation facility as well as the waste management. That is the most important one to look into Harita Keralam Paddhati. And secondly, Harita Keralam Paddhati is also aiming at water conservation, providing with drinking water facility to all the person. Jala Samriddhi, that is the slogan, Jala Samriddhi, for water conservation. Jala Samriddhi, that is to be maintained, providing drinking water facilities to all the population, aiming at Haritha Keralam. And thirdly, agricultural development. Third thing, Haritha Keralam is aiming at agricultural development. That means in the agricultural development, actually we mean organic farm. Organic farm, avoiding the chemicals, avoiding the chemical for environmental protection as well as for the safety of agricultural sector. Organic farm, popularization of organic farm aim, that is another component. But these are all, we may say, the three most important consideration under the Haritha Keralam. And nowadays in all the meetings, association, whenever there is a group or person is assembling, we have to protect the Haritha Keralam program by adopting what is known as Haritha Karma Sena. Haritha Karma Sena is formulated. They have to look into the environmental protection, the waste management program, and all this they have to do whenever there is a crowd is assembling, whenever there is a crowd or there is a meeting or association gathering is there, that protocol we have to keep by for the purpose of which we are maintaining the Haritha Karma Sena. Now the second one, life mission. Second, life mission. Life mission means what? Livelihood inclusion and financial empowerment. For an inclusive development, for an inclusive and sustainable development, life mission we have. And we say that life mission is supposed to be the flagship program of Kerala government. It is supposed to be a flagship program. It is say because of this program popularity to the government, and government programs are highly popular and reputed under this scheme, life mission program. What is the aim of the life mission program? Life mission program is targeting the homeless. Targeting the homeless persons who do not have any residential facility, shelter facility, providing them with shelter facility, giving, say, a living home to the homeless. That is the objective of life mission. And along with that life mission, the providing with the residential facility to such homeless person, many other side programs are also there. For example, we have Anganwadis along with that residential program. Anganwadi is also allowed because it is very necessary. We find that in nowadays in Kerala we cannot find, but in other states usually we find that when the labourers, especially the women labourers, when they are going to work, they carry on their lap their children also, since there is no other provision. No facility is available, nobody is to look after these babies at home. Usually the women, while they go for any work, they will carry their baby also along with them. If they are doing work in the farm field, sometimes the boy may be playing in mud. No care to the babies, so that Anganwadis are also now being constructed along with this residential shelter places of especially women. Anganwadis also provided. Kudumbashris are allowed to conduct this type of, you may say, Anganwadis, so that they will also get a livelihood, and at the very same time the babies are also getting good food facilities also. They are also providing food facilities in the Anganwadi, nutritious food facilities providing, medicine is providing, medical checkup is also conducted. Along with all this provision, a side provision of Anganwadi provision, and so also they are giving palliative care centers. Palliative care centers are also done for the persons having nobody to look after. Then old age care centers, which is now known as Pagal old age care centers, Pagal. Just like infants are interested in the Anganwadi, the age old persons, when the son or the daughter is going for work, the aged father as well as mother can be allowed to spend their daytime in Pagal Veedu, which is also run by these Kudumbashri persons, so that it is another provision for the well-being of the say old age person as well as the working class of persons and lower this infant facility, which is a most important program undertaken by government of Kerala, which is known as Life Mission. There are also many other programs under the Life Mission. Then Ardhram Mission. Ardhram Mission is consisting of what? Health care centers, health provision. Ardhram is concerned with the health sector. Health sector. And the objective of this Ardhram Mission is that at first people friendly medical college facility, that is improving the equipments and facilities in the medical colleges in Kerala. That is the first step. After that, it should be provided with the better facilities, infrastructure, machinery, etc. to the district hospitals, and in the third level coming to the Taluk hospital as well as subsequently the primary health centers, providing with all equipments, new technical assistance, facilities, etc. to health sector. That is the most important objective of the Ardhram Mission. Ardhram Mission is contained with health centers. Then with regard to the Podu Vidyabhyasa program, where you find academic excellence. Academic excellence, that is the most important objective of this Podu Vidyabhyasa program, where providing with high-tech classrooms, especially with the people participation. All these are concerned with the people participation and educational quality improvement of education. That is what we aim at this fourth component. These are all the most important programs under the title of Nava Kerala Karma Paddhati, which is consisting of 4 components. 4 components mainly taken together we call this Nava Kerala Karma Paddhati, which is sometimes because of the people participation and aiming, targeting at the lower section of the population for a sustainable development, sustainable and inclusive development of the Kerala economy with the wholehearted support of the general public. All these are the most important one. Then coming over to the current means 2019-20 budget, what are the programs of Kerala economic development, Kerala model. In the Kerala model, what are the programs developed by Kerala government in the current running 2019-20. We need not go to 2020-21. 2021 mains examination. We may take only for the mains examination 2021 budget and the provisions we will give. Over the next one, the budgetary provision in 2019-20. What are the most important budget provision? And before taking to the most important economic policy measures adopted by Kerala government for the faster development of the Kerala economy, a few things. Budget is noting few things. The mention is given in the budget. One, the special mention is given with regard to the Chinda Vishtayaya Sida. The mention is given in the Kerala budget of 2019-20, the Chinda Vishtayaya Sida, that is Kumar Nashan's Chinda Vishtayaya Sida, celebrating 100th year of publication. So that some programs for popularizing or for the significance of the Kumar Nashan's work of Chinda Vishtayaya Sida, it is mentioned in the budget of 2019-20. Then secondly, it is also mentioning about Dakshayani Velayudhan Award. Dakshayani Velayudhan Award. And you know, award is implemented. in the budget of 2019-20. An award is announced for what? That is titled as Dakshayani Velayudhan Award. Dakshayani Velayudhan is the first scheduled tribe woman in Kerala to pass the SSLC. SSLC passing first woman belonging to ST scheduled tribe community, Dakshayani Velayudhan, and in commemoration on the basis of which we have declared Dakshayani Velayudhan Award for the Women Empowerment Program. The Women Empowerment Program, a person will be awarded Dakshayani Velayudhan Award, which is also mentioned in the budget provision. And there also the Cochin Coimbatore Industrial Corridor is also given special mention in the budget. Cochin Coimbatore Industrial Corridor, a package of infrastructure facility by spending 100 crores, sorry 1000 crore. 1000 crores of rupees is the budget allocation for the infrastructure facility for constructing the industrial corridor between Cochin and Coimbatore, the package program mentioned in the budget. And so that is a general aspect introduced in the budget provision of 2019-20 in Kerala state. Then coming to the economic programs announced in the 2019-20 by Kerala government. 25 programs are total 25 socio-economic development program suggested for, as I have said earlier, the Navakerala Karma Paddhati. For the Navakerala Karma Paddhati, 25 programs are announced, and these 25 programs, few are coming under Harita Keralam Paddhati, few are coming under Ardram Paddhati, few are coming under the education program. So, in all this program taken together, the budget is announcing 25 programs of socio-economic development for the Navakerala Karma Paddhati under the Harita Keralam program or under the Life Mission program or Ardram Mission. These programs may come 25 in number. Number one, startup programs. Startup programs. Number one is startup programs. You know what do you mean by startup? That is one of the most important requirement in case of Kerala, that many people are ready to do work. Many people are ready to do some enterprising work. They are ready to do some enterprising, but usually we find that the people have no idea. They have no idea relating to how the business is to start, where it is to start, what type of business is more suitable, and in what manner the technical may say assistance, marketing assistance, financial assistance is possible. Nothing is known to the people. So, the startup require training. A very good training is necessary to all those persons who are ready to start a venture. For that purpose, startup programs have been chalked out. There are 3 programs under the startup program. Under the startup program for the Navakerala Karma Paddhati, we have 3 sub-programs. One sub-programs under the startup program is Kerala Startup Mission. Kerala Startup Mission, one program under the startup for a Karma Paddhati, Navakerala Karma Paddhati, which is consisting of startup programs. One such a startup program is what is known as Kerala Startup Mission. And here the objective is giving training to youth who are willing to start an entrepreneurial work. Training is necessary according to their taste, ability, qualification, etc. What type of enterprise is better for them, In such a provision, what are the basic things required, what help the government will give, what are the institutions available for supporting their venture, all that information training will be provided through that scheme of what is called Kerala Startup Mission, a startup provision for the Karma Paddhati. Number 2, KDIS, K capital K DIC, DISC, that means Kerala Development and Innovation Study Council. Kerala Development and Innovation Study Council, KDISC. KDISC, Kerala Development and Innovation Study Council. Young Investors Program. This is a program for the young investors, the youth investors program, KDIS program. A council, that is Kerala Development Innovation Study Council, is formulated to help the young investors who are ready to invest in Kerala. Number 2. Number 3 is Integrated Startup Complex. Integrated Startup Complex, already started in Cochin, to help in various way the startup beginners. Initial assistance, whatever is required, will be provided in that case. But these are the 3 missions under the startup for the Nava Kerala Karma Paddhati. Nava Kerala Karma Paddhati is consisting of, first of all, a startup program. For that startup, many different methods, ways by which government is giving support, technical support, organizational support, management support, financial support, complete information, both the technical and financial information, whatever is necessary, where to start, what type of enterprise is to start, at what price they can sell, where they can sell, and arrangement for all this also done by the government through the startup mission. So, startup is one of the components of the most important Karma Paddhati programs. Number 2. Second is concerned with the Kera Grama program. Kera Grama program. Kera Grama program. Kera Grama program is to promote, mainly to promote, 1. Coconut cultivation, agricultural development, for the purpose of agricultural development, coconut cultivation, a holistic program of coconut cultivation is chalked out in the Kera Grama programs. Number 2, second one in the Kera Grama program is number 2, Rice Park and Rubber Park. Rice Park and Rubber Park, covering 3 lakh hectare of area for rice cultivation, extension of area cultivation for rice, targeting 3 lakh hectare of area to be newly brought under the rice cultivation. That is the program of Rice Park program included under the Kera Grama Paddhati. Then a third one, a rice park, that is a program of rice park to be started in 3 districts: Palakkad, Thrissur, Alappuzha. Palakkad, Thrissur and Alappuzha, rice park to be started in 3 areas: Palakkad, Thrissur as well as Alappuzha, for which 20 crores of rupees allowed in the budget. 20 crores of rupees is allowed in the budget for the rice park at Palakkad, Alappuzha as well as Thrissur. Then another program under the Kera Grama Paddhati is, a fourth one is value added product, especially from rice, value added program, that is We know nowadays people go for branded commodities. Even for rice, raw rice we may not sometimes purchase. Usually we go and purchase branded rice. That is a tendency, that is a nature here. So government is also thinking of starting branded rice packets in order to provide with branded rice, like we may say Palakkadan rice, Matta rice, etc. Branded production, rice production in a brand manner to supply, which is an attraction for the general consumers in Kerala at present, and so that branded products of rice production is also another program under the Kera Grama Paddhati. So these are all the 4 programs included under the Kera Grama Paddhati. Interval, 5 minutes.